Yeah, you can check out the acoustics in here. How about a little cheer? Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm Ted Snyder. I'm Dean. I have the privilege of welcoming you to Yale School of Management's 42nd graduation ceremony. For those who have supported our graduating students, parents, step-parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, cousins, wives, husbands, significant others, lovers, friends, we all thank you for being here. A special thanks And I've talked to many of you. A special thanks to people who traveled so far to be here at this wonderful event. And to the many people dear to us who could not attend for various reasons, we recognize you and your goodwill. We are also joined by people online, and I wanted to welcome those of you to the ceremony as well. Yale SOM's mission is to educate leaders for business and society, to educate. So to my superb faculty colleagues, well done. Thank you. Thank you. And to our amazing, amazing staff colleagues, without whom we could not excel, here's to you. Thank you. But today is about our graduates of the MBA program, the Executive MBA program, the Master of Advanced Management, and the Master of Management Studies. Today is our chance to celebrate you, so let's hear it for the class of 2019. Okay, on to my speech. You might be worried I'm going to talk a long time. You know, I am transitioning to the faculty where I'm supposed to be doing 80-minute lectures. I don't know, but I think we'll be okay. I also am going to quote, though, from a Nobel Prize winner, but you may be happy to know it's not going to be an economist. It's the Nobel laureate in question is Bob Dylan. Some of us on stage enjoy Bob Dylan, so I hope you do as well. I want to first share a bit of history about the founding of our school. In May 1970, Yale's campus was engulfed in demonstrations over the Vietnam War and civil rights. 1 year later, 1971, Yale's 2 labor unions went on strike. The President's House, 43 Hill House, was trashed. How was Yale doing in the early 70s? Not so well. Yale had a $1 billion endowment back then, and it wasn't performing well, and Yale wasn't balancing its books. It was running operating deficits year to year. But it was interesting. It was in that time period, some 270 years after the university was formed, that the university's leadership considered establishing what has become Yale School of Management. Behind the miracle was William Beinecke, a member of the Yale Corporation. Other trustees included Hannah Gray, who I got to know. She was the first female president at the University of Chicago, and someone else whose name you probably recognize, and that's William Donaldson, Bill Donaldson. So some of you were at Old Campus, and there was a hymn sung about Yale's founders that made me reflect a bit about Mr. Beinecke's role as our founder. The hymn stanza went, quote, "Our founders knew that faith requires the discipline of sturdy thought. They trust that the Spirit's fires burn brightest where trust is sought." Well, Mr. Beinecke brought the multi-year debate about whether Yale should have a School of Management to close at a corporation meeting in May 1973. With the seed funds in place from, it turns out, the Beinecke family, Mr. Beinecke had the votes. He called the motion, and the yeas had it. That was the beginning of Yale SOM. Interestingly, less than 6 months later, after the vote to establish SOM, war broke out in the Middle East. Israel went on full nuclear alert in October. A little bit later in October, the organization of petroleum exporting countries announced the first of a series of price increases that quadrupled the price of oil within 6 months. So it's sort of interesting when you look back on it. Before the not-so-good times in May 1973 gave way to much more difficult and treacherous times, Yale SOM got its chance, and here we are. With our commitment to developing leaders for all sectors and regions, we are at home with this university, eminent and purposeful Yale, a university that seeks truth and light. With our faculty's expertise on how teams function, how organizations compete, Yale SOM has become nodal to all of the major academic units on campus, including Yale College, the graduate school, and other professional schools like law and public health. And I may not name them all because there are many, but drama, music, etc. And we're in a really good position around campus. And of course, since the founding, our alumni have gone on to build and develop and advance great and purposeful enterprises in all sectors and in all regions. Yale, an entrepreneurial school, continues to innovate with our network of business schools throughout the world and with our stewardship of Yale Center Beijing, arguably the most influential U.S. academic center in China. I started this year in saying, well, we should have a balanced approach, think about what's good, think about what's bad. We've had a great year, and I must say, from my perspective, the glass is 2/3 full. Now, Mr. Beinecke passed away as he approached his 104th birthday. He would have been 105 2 days ago. But as he often said, he, quote, would look forward to looking down fondly on SOM. So to Mr. Beinecke, we think fondly of you. Let me turn to, thank you. Let me offer just a few remarks to the class of 2019. I want to express what I think is on the minds of many people gathered here in support of these graduates, and that's hope. We have great hope because of you. I said I would quote Bob Dylan, 1970, "If not for you, winter would have no spring. This is spring. You are our spring. If not for you, the world's problems would be intimidating. If I started to list them all, I might go catatonic and look for a spot under the podium. They are intimidating. But with you, we can stay on the side of optimism. In you, we see hope of all kinds and miracles." Some of the faculty know I like the history of our species, so forgive me, this may sound a little weird, but Homo sapiens, our species, were not even certain to exist. The predecessor species, hominids, according to the evolutionary record, a few million years ago, the populations got down to the thousands. Glaciers moved across Europe and Asia, drought hit Africa. So times were tough for hominids. They were slow, they were relatively big. What did they have in their favor? They knew how to compete and they knew how to cooperate. There's a wonderful interplay of those two components of our DNA. Hominids worked in teams to track prey so that they could eat. And they learned how to run and track for days, 10, 20, 30 miles. And when they caught a big hunk of protein, they shared the bounty. Somewhere along the way, they learned how to make fire. And that, of course, they used to cook the meat and make it last longer. And then they learned to take the fires with them. So with marathon running, fires, and other innovations, Homo sapiens really burst onto the scene of Mother Earth about 300,000 years ago, a virtual nanosecond in the history of Earth's life, some 3.5 billion years. So what does this have to do with you? Our hope lies with you. You know how to compete. You know how to cooperate. You know how to seek truth and light. Your destinies and life's work will take you on different paths. Your sense of the world, I predict, will become small, and you'll have a sense of your ability to manage in ways that will make us all extremely proud. Within a short period of time, you will develop reputations about how you handle life's many forks, whether you game each situation, whether you shift risks to others, whether your actions benefit business and society. We have hope and indeed confidence that you'll choose not to use the veil of uncertainty and imperfect information to get a bigger share of gains or to shirk. You'll counter Bob Dylan's caution about, quote, finding out that when you reach the top, you're on the bottom. Bob Dylan, 1975. I'm getting old. In sum, our hopes are with you. You leave with the ability to outlast your foes, to beat the forces of evil, to carry the mission of SOM to all sectors and to all regions, and make fire. Class of 2009, move the spirit of Yale SOM and carry your reputations wherever your life's work takes you. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you back here often.
Good afternoon. My name is Bradshaw Hawkins, and it is an honor and privilege to speak with you today. A few weeks ago, I sent a good luck text to a friend as she was prepping for a job interview, Fofo. And after a little back and forth, I signed off with the text, I know you're gonna kill it. One day, leaders like us are going to rule the world. Without missing a beat, she wrote back, wrong. Leaders like us are going to improve the world. I think this is reflective of a subtle shift in perspective many of us have undergone during our time at Yale. I, like many of you, came to Yale wanting to improve myself. And, like many of you, I leave Yale wanting to improve something much more important. For our families, friends, employers, and loan servicers, don't worry. Yale SOM doesn't produce graduates any less prepared to take on roles of immense responsibility or any less oriented towards traditional metrics of success. However, our time here has pivoted the manner in which we pursue our goals. A Yale graduate approaches challenges differently. A Yale graduate is more capable of recognizing, valuing, and improving the intangible qualities underpinning tangible assets. For us, we see the people behind the indirect labor expense. For us, a company's reinvestment into its community is not a PR ploy, but an imperative. For us, a commitment to sustainable business operations is not a hindrance, but it promotes long-term growth. In this way, we are better we're better positioned to lead the organizations of the future. Customers are demanding accountability from the companies they interact with. Profits can no longer be the only motivator. Today's companies must stake their positions on a variety of social, political, and economic issues. As this generation matures into senior leadership roles, SOM graduates are uniquely poised to guide their organization in a world where the bottom line is not the only metric that matters. If Yale has imposed any philosophy on us, it's this: the degree we take today is not a culmination, but a great commission. We must accept the privilege while understanding the responsibilities now on our shoulders. We must not calculate success by returns alone, but through economic growth, technological advancement, stable jobs, better communities, and a world that we're proud to pass on to our children. Business and society. We have heard it time and time again. But as you're handed your diploma today, and you take your position in Yale's long line of distinguished graduates, remember our dual mandate. We can judge our hard work's worth by its impact on business, but it's the impact on society that makes our hard work worth doing. Congratulations, SOM class of 2019. We did it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sitting in the sun and adding new meaning to sweating it out for the MBA. Class of 2019, families, friends, faculty, and staff, congratulations and thank you for joining us today. My name is Udit, and I am yet another international student who has come to the United States to build a future. Yes. I lived in India for 27 years, and I could count how many non-Indians I knew on one hand, and then a month ago, I had a moment. After an hour-long hike, I was on top of a mountain in Peru, looking over the ruins of Machu Picchu, and a stranger asked me, "Where are you all from?" And I looked around at my 15 friends from SOM, and like it was the most natural thing in the world, told her the 10 countries that we came from. Now, I don't know if it was the mountain air or senioritis-induced reflection, but right then, I realized that Udit from 2 years ago could not have imagined being there, let alone claim friendships from around the world. Now, at the time, that seemed whimsical, even unimportant, but I believe that that is the future of the world. It may seem that reductive nationalist narratives are the flavor of the day, that mutual outrage is reinforcing polarized opinions, and that our ability to listen is declining faster than our attention spans. Yet, for every narrative, I think there is a counter-narrative. People of different nationalities, races, genders, ages are all finding ways to become more connected with each other, to stand up for each other, and of course, to do business with each other. And as graduates of the most global business school in the world, we are going to be the flag bearers of how we all talk to each other, listen to each other, and how we all treat each other. As our lives move beyond these glass walls of Evans Hall, I cannot wait to find out what impact all of us will have. We will go into government, nonprofit, consulting, banking, technology, any industry you can name, any country you can think of. Politicians, business leaders, entrepreneurs, regulators, students, the list goes on, will all listen to us. Collectively, we will make decisions that move billions of dollars, rupees, renminbis, euros, dirhams, and impact millions of people. And I believe that SOM has been teaching us exactly how to navigate this ambiguous, fast-changing environment with, as a good consultant, 3 lessons. The first one is to live the mission. Now, I worked in nonprofit and management consulting before SOM. SOM's mission to educate leaders for business and society was the first time that I saw an institution recognize that business and society are not adversarial. They go together. Whether that means looking at a problem with an integrated perspective, starting a difficult conversation, or spending the extra hour to find the difficult solution that makes the world a better place, I've seen all of you do it. The second is to invest in people. Multiple alumni come to SOM and preface it with, oh, this is such a cliche. But they always say, in the end, all that matters is people. To the person who drove an extra hour to return the rental car with me, to the person who made sure I didn't spend time alone when my granddad passed away and I couldn't go home for his funeral, and to every other person who supported someone at SOM in their lives. Thank you for teaching me what investing in people means. And finally, the third one, speak your truth. There's a saying in Sanskrit, Satyameva Jayate, truth always triumphs. Your truths, all of your truths through your Facebook comments, your Instagram stories, your classroom questions, your color-coded calendars, your onesies, your coffee chats, your startups, your board games, and all the innumerable other ways of expression have pushed me to learn, to take time for myself, and I think most importantly, to be myself. So yes, when you forget everything that I've said today, remember this. Our values don't define our actions define our values. Thank you and congratulations.
This is a version of a traditional Yale song that has become an SOM commencement tradition.
As first years we began the core. Fold-a-roll, roll, 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 with spreadsheet held in groups of 4. Fold-a-roll, roll, roll, Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, 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 Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, roll, roll. My honors were gold. Fold-a-roll, roll, 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 till we see their meaning last. Fold-a-roll, roll, who? Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, why? Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, in debt we shall forever be. Roll, 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 from buying salads at Charlie's. Fold-a-roll, roll, who? Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, why? Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, for business and society. Fold-a-roll, roll, 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 we'll maintain our sobriety. Fold-a-roll, roll, roll, roll. Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, roll, roll. Eli, Eli, Eliel. Fold-a-roll, roll, roll, roll.
Self-graduation, which I'll explain in a moment, is an SOM tradition that began with the very first commencement ceremony of the school. Another tradition is for you, the graduating class, to stand, turn around, face the audience, and applaud the families, friends, and supporters who sacrificed in many ways to make your time at Yale SOM possible. We will now proceed to the granting of diplomas to our graduates from the Master of Management Studies, Systemic Risk and Global Business and Society, Master of Advanced Management, Master of Business Administration for Executives, and Master of Business Administration degree programs. Self-graduation is a tradition where our graduates announce the names of their classmates as they receive their diplomas. As the first graduate comes forward to receive a diploma from Dean Snyder, the next graduate will announce the graduate's name. Each graduate will do the same, and I will announce the name of the last graduate. I ask you all to please hold your applause until all graduates have been recognized. I now call upon Dean Snyder to step forward to award the diplomas and ask the graduates to begin the procession.
Ert. Want to do one more time? Emre Ert.
Michelle Jones.
Shiro Kawana.
Siren Kumar.
John McDonough.
Omari Morrison.
Mark Paralman. Ricky Pratita.
Ying Yu Yang.
Andrea Zuniga. Mustasim Azar.
Raphael Bardeur.
Paul Bashir.
Margot Douy Brunet.
Ken Chanson Saint-Germain.
Thomas Christian.
Jiefu Chu.
Bruna Costa Mazon.
Nina Crook. Mathias Kur.
Hugo Dubursny.
Kathy Tung Yi. Ryan D'Souza.
Constance Ferraris.
Huang Cheng Hong.
Aida Kabash.
Lennart Koch.
Lawrence Najim Henrik Kusa. Abi Kumar.
Fernando Lamounier Ferreira.
Lucas Lion Lettner. Lee Chao-Chen Leslie.
Christiane Bianca Lontok.
Nikki Müller-Mesin.
Eugenia Panzeri.
Pierangelo Raiola.
Akash Rambia.
Andrea Suriano Simoncini.
Vittoria Tagliabue.
Nazmi Mert Turkmen.
Olivier Viel.
Diana Zhao.
Aditula Olayemi.
Eric Ajay.
Dirin Agogovia.
Andrew Almazan Anaya.
Nasser Asayir. Noura Al-Sharhan.
Laura Arrazzola Liebano.
Jean-Luc Basilekin.
Eric Bentoro.
Chai Chai.
Ching Ching Chen.
Dari Cho.
Wujung Choi.
Kristen Sonio Klesen.
Eva Koulibaly.
Sylvia Tsui. Tuan Do.
Gil John Domingo.
Kingsley Ejimika.
Horacio Fernández de la Garza.
María Inés Fernández Nava.
Carlos Galera.
Regina Garba.
Hernan Gomez Cardozo.
Bella 关玉白。
郭灿。Guamong.
Rajeshri Gutse.
Chinadu Ibeme. Teho Kim.
Bema Kone.
Siang Andy Kong.
Kristen Martin Leibel.
Candice Leung.
Walter Lindo. Liu Xiang.
Yushin Lu.
Danny Magner.
Ernesto Francisco Chiari Mendez.
Aileheni Okosun.
Raul Arrego.
Nicole Hampton Pence. Akshay Prasad.
Daniel Reshef.
Oscar Eduardo Reyes Corado.
Guillermo Robles Zamora. Andrea Mariel Rodríguez Amaya.
Andrea Carolina Rodriguez Sanchez Gala.
Spandan Saha.
Zachary Ross Savary.
Shane Michael Sebastião.
Ricardo Sherwell Haddad.
Franco Ezequiel Spagnolo.
Michael Bradley Stapleton.
Michelle Eric Stoffer.
Sun Jingwei.
Udon Sun.
Carlos Savos.
Fevo Usifo.
Jayanth Virendra.
Evelyn Vintorini Pignon. Colin Wilson.
Jiazhen Wu. Jane Xu. Kaylin Yang Kailin. Yao Lan. Zelda Zhang Shuang.
Moon Jong. Vasu Dev Rao Aitharaju.
Imran Ali.
Eric Sean Altman.
Pavan Kumar Anai.
Dawn Christina Bannerman.
Logan James Bender.
Vanessa Joy Blaber.
Ellie Sean Campion.
Linsing Chin.
Frank Simonello.
Brandon Luis Colon. Daniel Zenos Coutinho.
Jasper Daniel.
Michael Anthony D'Aquila.
Dwayne Ricaldo Edwards.
Eric Daniel Ibert.
Loic Fenot.
Carlos Herman Fernandez Robles.
Phoenicia Fitz.
Jesse Mafra Flat.
Marc Olivier Gerard.
Brett Paul Graffy.
Abhishek Gupta.
Pankaj Gupta.
Bradshaw Hawkins. Gabriela Infante.
Erica Lynn Janifer.
Jesse J.U. Gian.
Jason Jones.
Claudine Littman.
Andrew Maddox. Marissa Mitchell.
Rachel Morgan.
Obina Wankwo.
Seth Kelsey Olson.
Timothy James O'Mara.
Robert Nathaniel Park.
Deruba Parveen.
William Wei Peng.
Dr. Charles Andrew Powell.
Timothy Andrew Quagliarello, receiving his diploma from his father, Dr. Vincent Quagliarello, Professor of Medicine, Yale School of Medicine.
Suparna Rajan.
Lauren Hines.
Dr. Shashank Ravi.
Tianle Young Redens.
David Edward Rudman.
Gregory Sutton.
Matthew Swear.
Lynn Tanoe.
Jason Scott Teitelbaum.
Patricia Tobon.
Willem Frederick Veldhuizen.
Paul Christopher Velicki.
Manoj Ramesh Wadwani.
Christopher Eway Warner.
Bradley Scott Wayman.
Anna Francis Williams.
Marcel Yang.
Michael Alexander Zarolinski.
Bennett Kwaku Anshui.
Daniel Edmund Croft.
Alexandra Hopkins.
Lila Christine Kerr.
Vivian Nguyen.
Alyssa Manny Robinson.
Bella Steiner.
Sarah Wen.
Yang Zhang.
Akintunde Olujimi Abiona.
Fabio Acero Andres Garcia.
Matthew On.
Ashwin Ahuja. Jasmine Ako.
Arifa Alam.
Khalid Al-Jalal.
Adriana Alterman.
Mikhail Embroj.
Pam Chitranud Amonvatana.
Divam Anid.
Megan Ananian.
Ivan Antoniev.
Jesse Aronica.
Jansu Arslan.
Jimerson Asensio Farfino.
Junghoon Baik.
Matthew Judd Bacall.
Jacqueline Michelle Ball.
Fernando Balzaretti Cordova.
Tapo Jyoti Bandio Padai.
Matthew Bartlett. Kea Barua.
Shruti Basavraj.
Jatin Batra.
Maya Bielfus Hoffman.
Evan Beinecke.
Michael Burgell.
Manuel Berger. Dan Bietner.
Danielle Blandon Restrepo. Sammy Bogos.
Mark Elliott Bossy.
Dr. Michele Bruno.
Susanna Derby Burridge.
Megan Marie Kane.
Giampiero Caruso.
Joe Chow.
Ayana Charles.
Apurv Chaturvedi.
Arshia Chowdhury.
First among the Chens, Cynthia Chen.
Second among Chens, Eileen Chen.
Third of all the Chens, Celia Chen.
Fourth among the Chens, Nancy Zilin Chen.
Fifth among the Chens, Shu Rui Chen.
To conclude the Chen dynasty, Yan Huan Chen.
Tuxia Chu.
Teha Chun.
Gregory Albert Chung.
Martin Sionis. Catherine Winslow Cole. Hope Hoffman Connolly.
Becca Constantine.
Ali Crowley.
Felipe Cuconati.
Chris Catrona.
Ali Dahir.
Fan Dai.
Tobias Daros.
Zena Richo Devi. Daisy Dodger.
Marina De Mello Saroris.
Andrew Joseph Dutram.
Ana Minerva Diaz Benitez.
Valerie G.
Trevor Dodds.
Valentina Victoria Domac.
Lindsay Justin Dow.
Shane Patrick Drangle.
Aaron Sheldon D'Souza.
Linda Du.
Ran Duan. Jessie Louise DeBow.
Shanna Marie Delaney.
Hiroki Abihara.
Adrian Eby.
Mustafa Edie.
Luke Paddock Elder.
William Daftery Claxton Elmore.
Donovan Irvin.
Ahmad Ashkar.
Laura Fajardo. Jess Farr.
Amanda Faulkner.
Tom Fang.
Holland Taylor Finley.
Yeah.
Luke Duval Floreval.
Trent Jared Fuenmayor.
Jennifer Gammon.
Soham Ganguly.
Janet Gehrman.
Addison Genenbacher.
Ryan George.
Michael Giuliano. Davin Gong.
Riley Gudgeon.
Grace Gui.
Ashna Gupta.
Matthew Scott Hamowitz.
François Allier.
Sarah Isabel Harari.
Jessica Harpole.
Jacob Harris.
Haim Haviv.
Robert Hare.
Marik Hazan.
Thyro Aruda.
Sita Hong.
Clyde Elhan Hun III.
Hirantip Inhara Nukonkit.
Flora Irving.
Bilal Jahangir.
Thomas Jang.
Annie Estella Jong.
David Jang.
Camille Kafati Vieda.
Vinay Kanchanapali. Catherine Kapnick.
Alexandra Kapshai.
Alexei Kasavin.
Devin Casper.
Nathan Kastner. Shika Kaushal.
Madeline Kelly.
Ashutosh Ketan.
Wiwit Kiat Anupang.
Sonny Hyunji Kim.
Jihong Kim.
Julie Kim.
MK Minkyung Kim.
Paul David Kim.
Soyoung Kim.
Warapat Kinkeo Kontong. Daniel Klein.
Michael Klingel.
Andrew James Knauer.
Florian Kogler.
Nikhil Raju Kunduru.
Marina Kokositas.
Sabrina Corman.
Mattis Krasberg.
Joshua Jura Krieber.
Uma R. Krishnan.
Jan Guo.
Nikesh Lakmani.
Kin Lam. Lauren Lampton.
Elizabeth Sarah Landau.
Alexandra Jean Lozan.
Shelby Lane.
Jesse Lazarus.
Lauren Lassesi.
Richard Lee.
Jillian Claire Leitch.
Bonnie Lee.
Andy Li Sihong.
Sarah Simong Lee.
Yuan Ryan Lee.
Brian Limiardi.
Robert Lin.
Jason G. Sheng Liu.
Kelly North Lively.
Chelsea Lowell. Konstantin Lukianits.
Nikhil Subramaniam Madirala.
Gokul Madhavan.
Carlos Mancera Portilla.
Sarah Ann Mandelbaum.
Shane Mangin.
Alfredo Marcos.
Vince Marriott.
Kevin Martinez.
Luis Mas Castillo.
Belisa Mazel.
Stephen Odinaka Mbonu.
Kelly McKee.
Catherine Meek.
Ashna Mera.
Marcos Antonio Meléndez Celedón.
Saralene Menendez Mendoza.
Nicholas Joseph Meyer.
Christopher Sean Miller.
Dana Miller.
Mariah Key Minigan.
Jeffrey Miyamoto.
Daniel Moshe Field.
Camilo Monge.
Rio Moriyasu.
Lauren Levitch Motskin.
Merrick Daniel Mraz.
Andrew Murhoko.
Takahiro Murazono.
Grace Myers.
Pranoy Nambiar.
David New. Sissy Nee.
Katarina Victoria Obinga.
Ifeanyi Anthony Okafo.
Adeolua Omotola.
Selena Ong.
Fernando Ortega Gazola.
Nana Yao Ose Owusu.
Ajo Palais. Rupika Palakirti.
Natalie Dupont Copeland Pano.
Sai Rajendra Pansare.
Juvenile Nayan Parrot.
Hejun Park.
Carlos Pena.
Marco Lawrence Pizzatola.
John Patrick Polchinski. Alexander Nicholas Popper.
Joshua Posner.
Mesquita Presatio.
Ethan Persant.
Tanon Propagon.
Jose Miguel Pulido. Lucia Kwan.
Valentina Quadrat.
Jeff Raful.
Arwa Anis Rangoonwala.
Akshay Rao.
Udit Rastogi.
Ashish Rati.
Zachary Ratner.
Aishwarya Ravi.
Caroline Barnett Reeve.
Joseph Charles Rigodonzo.
Bianca Adele Rodriguez.
Christian Rodriguez Chavez.
Lucas Emilio Roque de Silva.
Philip Ross.
Dea Rosenberg.
Will Ryan.
Mohammed Khaled Abul.
Dia Sagar.
Rakesh Saha.
Clifford Sakatukwa. Sarah Michelle Salzbank.
Clara Andrea Schmitz.
Justin Schulte.
Emily Ocean Searles.
Rukma Sen.
Natalia Shivna.
Olivia Ao Shen.
Chris Shen. Catherine Siegel Sirks.
Georgia Margaret Sills. Ron Silo.
Daniel Silva.
Nathaniel Haspel Silver.
Uday Singh. Lisa Sisson. Dasha Slavina. Rachel Hannah Summer.
Julia Irene Spinnen-Weber.
Rohan Shriram.
Hannah Stonebreaker.
Laura Tamyarv.
Yu Xian Tan.
Danilo Tarden Caixero.
Catherine Mackenzie Thatcher.
Jordan Thompson.
Ender Tinker.
Amy Tourget.
Stephen Tran.
Sophia Tayek.
Paraj Tile.
Christopher Chen Yu Wong.
Willie Wang.
Xinzi Wang.
Josh Yuling Wang.
Yuni Wong.
Tale Warburg.
Fan Wen.
Christina Alexis Watley.
Gregor White.
Jane Catherine Wiedenbeck.
Pablo Nigel Wong Salido. Wenjun Wong.
Grace Wright.
June Wu.
Lauren Ruth Wyman.
Martha Young Shen.
Shu Icho.
Emma Carol Yamamoto.
Yang Ge Owen Yang.
Christina Ye.
Clive Yi Shi.
Harrison Yudeayi.
Jonathan Yosef.
Iberg Yilmaz.
Celia Perot Yin Blair.
Hansa Vukosi Yan.
Albert Yu.
Yu Tianyang.
Ariana Day Yun.
Matthew Zarelli.
Zhao Xueqing Alina.
Amy Zhu.
Santiago Sindel Mundet Cruz.
Andrea Zarita.
Miranda Palter Poston.
Mark Perlman.
Omari Morrison.
Shiro Koana.
Melinda Marlene Agron.
Trent Lewis Anderson.
Samuel Lewis Linden. Gurjo Carr.
Ellis Imani Liang.
Ibrahim Yavari.
Okay, grads, one more time. Congratulations from all of us, everyone who's taught you, everyone who works with you, everyone who loves you. Congratulations, class of 2019. So, I'm going to throw my hat up. Lunch is ready for everyone who ordered lunch. It's ready out there for you. Congratulations again.